Chapter 327 Entering the Formation. Get lost. The Emperor of UA yelled gloomily. With a long whistle, the bloody light hurriedly enveloped the group of puppets. Then with a savage appearance, he chased after Han Li and company, disappearing in the blink of an eye. After a short moment, the motionless puppets suddenly fell from sky. They were all broken into fragments. Han Li arrived at the great formation he had set up. Having felt his puppets being destroyed from his threads of consciousness, Han Li felt very regretful. He then called out to the other cultivators to descend and enter the small bamboo forest. As Han Li and the others hurriedly descended, the Emperor of UA had already broken through the puppet encirclement and clearly saw Han Li and the others enter the bamboo forest. This greatly surprised and puzzled the Emperor of UA, but he inwardly rejoiced. When he arrived above the bamboo forest and saw that Han Li and the others hadn't left, he sinisterly smiled and immediately waved his arms. A small chunk of his body's bloody light then separated itself from him. Poo-poo. The bloody light flashed and fiercely shot into the bamboo forest. Midway, it suddenly enveloped the entire bamboo forest in a huge, shining red barrier. Having seen the bloody light silently entrap the bamboo forest, the Emperor of UA revealed a somewhat pleased expression. So long as this devilish light barrier firmly surrounded the bamboo forest, he would be able to use another secret technique to completely dissolve everything within it. Since the enemy had trapped themselves there, they had better not blame him for being merciless. His hands formed a series of dazzling movements, the incantation gestures to activate the secret technique. As he performed these gestures, the bamboo forest was suddenly covered in a blue and white dome of light, that easily stopped the barrier of bloody light from further shrinking. After a moment of surprise, the Emperor of UA's expression grew cold. As expected, that group came here for a reason. They had even laid out a formation spell here. The Emperor of UA thought with bitter resentment. But this is nothing. How formidable can a hurriedly established formation spell be? At worst, I'll just refine the people along with their formation. In any case, I cannot allow them to flee from the Imperial City. The Emperor of UA thought resolutely. With a plan in mind, he formed incantation gestures without restraint and immediately cast secret techniques. The bloody light that had been stopped, then flashed with a brilliant radiance and attempted to further pressure their spell formation. However, the bloody still had little effect. But the Emperor of UA didn't stop there. He shallowly cut at himself with his finger, sending off another chunk of bloody light to merge with the devilish light barrier. The color of the bloody light barrier grew even deeper, faintly releasing the scent of blood. Anyone who smelled it would feel the desire to vomit. Having seen this, the Emperor of UA appeared slightly pleased. He repeatedly formed more incantation gestures with his hands and cast a series of magic techniques toward the bloody barrier. The magic techniques shot into the barrier, causing the barrier to fiercely expand in every direction and its bloody light to become a richer crimson. The azure-white radiance bitterly resisted the increased pressure, appearing as if it would collapse at any moment. The Emperor of UA felt at ease after seeing this. From what he currently saw, the deaths of the Yellow Maple Valley cultivators was only a matter of time and it was impossible for them to escape. However, the aftermath would be troublesome to deal with. It seems that I can no longer act as the Emperor of UA. I'll have to conceal my identity and start all over. The Emperor of UA thought regretfully. As the Emperor of UA was considering his possibilities in midair, Song Ming and the others were overwhelmed with fear inside the bamboo forest. Having heard Han Li's sound transmission, the others quickly retreated to save their lives. With confidence stemming from Han Li's display of strength, everyone had decided to trust him without discussion. But none of them had expected that they would arrive at such an obscure bamboo forest and actually be trapped within such a dangerous situation. Although a defensive formation spell was established at this location, they were surrounded by an impenetrable bloody light. In addition, this formation spell appeared to be on the verge of collapse. With imminent danger approaching, how could these people not panic? Junior Marshal Brother Han, Is this the defensive preparation that you had prepared? Song Meng muttered this question without confidence. That's right. Is there a problem? Han Li indifferently said, observing the circumstances before him. In an instant, Song Meng's face turned extremely pale. The faces of Zhang Weinian and Chen Qiaoqian's senior martial brother also turned very unsightly. Only Chen Weinian looked at Han Li with a calm appearance. A strange appearance of thoughtfulness flashed through her eyes. Han Li, if you have any other methods, please speak of them. Don't keep us in the dark. I am confident that you have other methods prepared, not just this magic formation. Chen Qiaoqian suddenly said this in a calm manner. The others were startled upon hearing this, and looked at Han Li with lifted spirits. From the caution Han Li had displayed during this night, there was no way that he would have made such a foolish move. When Han Li heard this, he lowered his head in thought. He then faintly smiled to the others. Be at ease. Since I've brought my senior apprentices here, I naturally have something in mind, he said with a calm expression, before patting his storage pouch and taking out a small purple flag. The flag was densely filled with incantation symbols and appeared to be an extraordinary magic tool. Is that a formation flag? Zhang Weinian asked with astonishment. Formation plate and flag-type magic tools were very rarely seen in the state of Yue. Senior martial sister is quite knowledgeable. Han Li agreed, lightly praising his 7th senior martial sister. This greatly surprised the others and slightly strengthened their confidence. It seemed that junior martial brother Han truly did have something else prepared. Under their attentive gazes, Han Li held the small flag with both hands. The small, exquisite flag grew several times larger in the blink of an eye and faintly emitted a purple radiance. Han Li laid the formation flag flat in his hands and softly muttered an incantation, before loudly spitting out the word swiftly. At the end, whoosh! The formation flag immediately shot off and could no longer be seen. Han Li then took out 3 more identical formation flags from his bag and did the same thing, having them fly off in other directions. After doing this, Han Li coldly glanced at the sky with an almond yellow formation plate in his hands. The formation plate was unremarkable and held no light. However, Han Li then solemnly held the plate flat above his head, causing it to lightly glow. A thick beam of yellow light soared from it and into the sky, striking the azure-white light barrier. At nearly the same time, beams of gold, azure, red and blue light shot from the sky from 4 different directions. Upon receiving the 5 pillars of light, the azure-white barrier that was on the verge of collapse immediately stabilized and the faint sounds of ocean waves could be heard from it. The sounds above them gradually became larger and more frequent, eventually becoming the sound of unfettered thunder. Those who heard it couldn't help but feel fear. As the sounds grew louder, the appearance of the azure-white light barrier unexpectedly changed, becoming a barrier of rainbow light. Despite how the exterior red light attempted to collide with it, the new rainbow light barrier was like a reef below a stormy sea, completely unfazed. Seeing this, Song Meng and the others grew at ease and realized that Han Li's formation was rather extraordinary. It seemingly would have no problem in preserving their lives. The Emperor of Yue saw this strange scene and cast several devilish techniques in response. However, as his techniques had little effect against the colorful light beneath his red barrier, he felt that this matter was anything but good. His stern, cold face flashed with hesitation and he wrinkled his brow. Then, he abruptly stamped his foot and had the red light flow back to him in streams of various sizes. Then, he turned his body into a ball of red light without hesitation and flew off into the sky at a speed that would leave even Han Li ashamed. Strangely, while this person flew off at great speed, he returned at even greater speed. It was unknown why he had returned despite attempting to flee. The Emperor of Yue's face revealed an expression of disbelief as he attempted to fly off another 8 times. However, he was unable to fly off more than 100 meters away each time before obediently flying in a circle and returning to his original location. By this time, the Emperor of Yue no longer appeared bewildered, Instead, his face was filled with terror. Upon seeing this, Han Li laughed coldly while the others were wide-eyed and speechless. From joy and surprise, Zhang Weinian had tightly clenched her fist, not noticing in the slightest that her long fingernails had dug into her flesh, causing her to bleed. In addition to surprise, other, more complicated emotions had also surfaced on Chen Qiaoqian's face. Han Li took out his tortoise-shell and white-scale shield and had them revolve around his body. Lacking the time to explain the secrets of the 5 elements reversal formation, he said with a deep voice, "If anyone has a treasure talisman, use this opportunity to activate it. In a moment, we will launch a joint attack to exterminate him. Since he is already trapped in this great formation, he won't be able to quickly escape from it." Han Li's words were filled with great confidence.